Mi nombre es Fernanda Perdomo-Arciniegas, and I am here to share with you my talent, which is something that I love, and is running. But first, I want to debunk a myth. People think that to run, you have to have a special kind of physicality, and that's not true. The truth is that if you have a body and you run, you have a runner's body. Doesn't matter if you have run fast, slow, how many races have you run, how many years have you been running. The truth is that if you run, you are a runner. Also, age is just a number. I started to run in my 40s, and to be honest, it didn't matter that I didn't run before. It all mattered was that I started putting the effort, I put my shoes on, I got out, and I started running. So hopefully the next few tips that I'm gonna give you are gonna get you all pumped up, and I'm gonna get you very excited, and you are gonna take up on running. So let me give you some tips. Okay, so the first tip is going to be about get the right shoes. Do not be like me. Do not run with your 10-year-old shoes because that gets you in all sorts of trouble, right? So go to a specialized store and get your gait measure. Meaning you're gonna step on a machine and that machine is gonna tell the size of your feet, what's your gait, and what kind of shoes are actually good for you. So in my hands, I have two types of shoes. The ones that I use for my flat running and the ones that I use for my trail running. So you can see that the flat running, the pavement running, the surface of the sole is very kind of smooth. And the one for trail is really rugged, just because you need this traction when you're running over rocks, sticks, mud, all sorts of things. For example, if you look at the sole of my shoe, I am a neutral pronator, so I use the shoe evenly, the sole of the shoe evenly. But if you look at your shoes and, for example, you see that the outer part of the sole has wear and tear, that means that you are an underpronator and perhaps your arch is a little higher. And as opposed to somebody who's an overpronator and the inner heel, an inner part of the shoe is the one that suffers the most wear and tear. And so in that case, that person is, as I said, an overpronator. In those cases, the shoes that you can find are specifically built for that kind of gait. And believe me, it's really helpful to have that because you avoid then hip pain, knee pain, and obviously your feet pain. In my hand, I have Glycerin 17 from Brooks. I really like this brand just because they are very cushy. And for trail running, Saucony, which is Peregrine 10. So that's kind of like my advice on the shoes. It's very important to the longest just because it is. Okay, the second tip that I have for you is hydration. It is very important to drink plenty of fluid before a run. This is to avoid headaches or cramping. I'm going to share with you some of the things that I do use when I do long runs. Pickled juice helps me when I'm running long distance. This is over 3 hours running, and helps with electrolyte consumption as well as helps with the cramping, so it avoid cramping. And also I take salt caps, which also help with reduces the heat stress as also the muscle cramping, which tends to I don't carry water when I'm running less than an hour. So if you're gonna be going for a run for like 20 minutes, you really don't need to carry anything in your hands, and you wanna have your hands kind of free and loose when you're running. So it's I see a lot of people running with a bottle. That's not kind of like what I do because I want to have my hands relaxed. But if you go out on a run that is a little over an hour but not 3 hours, you can wear a belt where you can carry your phone, your keys, etc. And they sell bottles that are flexible, and you can put as much water as you want. In this case, 450 milliliters for this kind of bottle. If there are long runs, you can have, you definitely need hydration vest, something that you put over you, and it has a hose that comes all the way to your mouth, and when you're running you just need to suck on it and you get plenty of fluids. Sometimes we use water and we mix powder with electrolytes as well. And this is where the bladder comes, and this is where the water is located. And you also have the space to carry, food, special bars, special gels, extra clothing, or if you are running and you need to take your jacket because now you're getting warm, you can carry it here as well. Okay, the third tip I want to share with you is about your running attire. It is important that what you wear is not going to make you uncomfortable. Make sure that whatever you're going to be wearing is 100% polyester and nothing that has cotton in it, because when you're wearing cotton, you're very prone to chafing. And this is really true for men, specifically if you're running running a long distance and you're sweating a lot. The friction from the cotton against your nipples, you can actually bleed. The other thing that is important to wear is a hat that is going to protect you from the sun if it's really, really sunny. I also use it sometimes to put water and cool myself off a little bit so you can get it all wet and then you put the hat. But also in the winter, because you lose a lot of heat through your head, and so the hat actually protects that and keeps you warm. Sunglasses to protect you from UV rays, and like me, and for people who have short hair and their ears get really, really cold, you can wear something like that. It's a headband and it protects your ear and also keeps your headphones if you're running with headphones. I carry my mask as well. I'm now running with my mask off, but I still carry it because I want to make people who are running or walking in the trails comfortable as well, in case there are very narrow paths. Okay, so the last tip I'm going to share with you is how to start running, right? You're ready, you have your attire, you know about hydration, you know about your shoes, and you are outside. Now what? Well, I'm gonna teach you a technique that we use in my running group, which is called San Jose Fit. And this technique is called the 330. So it's 3 minutes running, 30 seconds walking. And with this technique, not only you get to run and build endurance, but also you get to run marathons. That's how a lot of people actually run a marathon, running for 3 minutes and walking for 30 seconds. And it is proven that you can actually finish it under 6 hours. So when you start, I will say that using this technique is really helpful, because what you want to do is create and build that endurance. I will say that do not think so much about the distance that you want to run. Don't start saying, oh, I'm going to run a mile today. Only because your brain still doesn't know exactly how long is a mile, and a mile might sound like super long. So actually think about, okay, I'm just gonna run for 15 minutes. What you're gonna do is like, okay, I'm gonna run 15 minutes and I'm gonna be using this 110 technique, or then 220 technique, and then increase it. You're gonna see that you are gonna continue running. You don't wanna stop. So instead of running 15 today, then you're gonna run 20, right? Or the next day you wanna run 30 minutes. And do it slowly and progressively. Don't start running like I am gonna run a whole hour today on a Saturday. It's not necessary, because the idea is that your body kind of like acclimates to this sort of movement. Because when you are a beginner, everything in your body is going to hurt. Your hair is gonna hurt even. So that's why I say it's important to hydrate. But everything is gonna hurt because you're not used to this type of movement. You're used to being, on a chair or laying down or maybe just walking. But the running is a different movement. Also, I will say, as I'm closing, make sure that you do a little bit of weight training, right? Strength training. Because yes, you're using your legs and your longer muscles, but you also want to make sure that your arms are strong and your glutes are strong and your core is strong. So Google some exercises online. My favorites are burpees, which are very hard, but they're very necessary because you are using basically all the muscles that runners use. Jumping rope is extremely helpful because you are using a muscle that is very important, which are your glutes. When you run, your glutes are, if they are developed, if they are really strong, they do a lot of the lifting. It's not just this part, and you avoid a lot of issues with your knees when you have a strong butt, basically strong muscles in there. Just because your glutes are really strong. And that's one of the things that I learned, because initially I had a lot of knee pain, and I started doing exercises that made my glutes stronger and really help. And also squats, and so that exercise also helps your legs as well as your core as well as your glutes. So all this to say, thank you so much for allowing me to share all these techniques and these tips with you. As you know, running is my passion. You can contact me with any other tips. You can find a lot of information also online. There are a lot of accounts on Instagram to follow of runners. And so hopefully this is going to inspire you and get you out there, and you're going to be running, and hopefully we can actually meet someday and run together. All right, take care.